Let's talk about few comments that actually came up in the last video of mine where I talk about how do you actually spot an emotionally intelligent woman. And a lot of the comments were like she doesn't exist, such a woman is very hard to find and people have not come across a woman who is like this. And this is something that I want to address in today's video. So, if you're new here, I'm Vesh and I'm a men's relationship coach and I help men heal their traumas, attachment issues, and wounded masculinity in order for them to pursue meaningful connection with women. Now, if you are someone who is struggling with anxious or avoidant attachment, or if you have any childhood traumas or abandonment issues that you want to work through, you can reach out to me through Instagram to book a consultation with me. DM me the keyword coach, and you'll find the link to my Instagram in the description box below. And when I was reading the comments, I'm like, okay, I get it that you guys have been hurt. I get it that you guys have gotten into unhealthy relationships in the past. But one thing I want you all to understand is an unhealthy relationship or a bad relationship or any relationship that ends up being a failure is often co created by two people. There might be either one person in it who probably overgave and one person who was emotionally avoidant, or another person who did not honor their own boundaries, and maybe someone even took the other person for granted, or maybe there was some form of betrayal that happened in the relationship. And most of the cases, when I talk to people about what happened early on in the relationship, a lot of the times you guys have yourselves missed the red flags in the person in front of you, which led to your own heartbreak. And this is not to point the finger at anyone else or blame anyone else, because the whole thing is there are good women out there and there are also women who aren't good for you out there. But the selection process is something that you do for yourself. So the decision is ultimately in your hand as to how do you want your partner to show up in your life. What kind of qualities do you desire in her, and how are you going to actually select someone like that? And what if I told you it's not that such emotionally intelligent women do not exist, but you actually haven't become the version of yourself who can select such a woman, who can identify these things in a woman and even attract someone like this? And the first thing I want to address here is we attract a relationship or a woman into our life based on our previous wounds or based on our psychological wounds. The fact that you guys even got together is a reflection of both of you had some or the other form of psychological wounds which complemented each other. Else, think about it this way: if that person in front of you was so bad for you, you would have had the emotional intelligence to even identify that she has a lot of red flags and detect these signs early on and leave that relationship. But probably most of you guys ignored these signs, stayed in the relationship for a very long time, overgave with the expectation and hopes that the person in front of you would change. But oftentimes, people do not change unless they do some deep inner work, or probably they work with a therapist or even a coach to actually identify their patterns and break their patterns. And even if you had unhappy childhood growing up, if you had critical parents, or if you probably are an empath, maybe, you would be drawn to people who bring that kind of chaos into your life, who are not emotionally regulated, because that chaos is something that you have been familiar with since your childhood. Maybe you never got that kind of love that was safe for you. Maybe you always had to perform for love as a child, or you had to earn someone else's love as a child, because of which you feel that that's a normal in the relationship until it gets to a point where it hurts you completely, or maybe even leads to a heartbreak. And even the chaotic, emotionally dysregulated, hot and cold, emotionally unavailable women are people who have their own traumas within them. And you got attracted to them in the very first place because maybe you lack a strong sense of self worth, boundaries, maybe have people pleasing habits, or maybe you are just used to the chaos. And because of which you are not able to remove yourself from the relationship or the connection early on. An emotionally intelligent woman would actually feel very boring to a dysregulated man, not because she is boring, but because your nervous system is so tuned to actually surviving in a form of dangerous environment with someone else. The second thing I want to actually address is that you cannot receive something that you do not believe exists in the very first place. Our subconscious mind is so powerful and it believes everything that we feed it. So, if your subconscious thought process is to think like women like this, women who are emotionally intelligent, do not exist, you are never going to be able to attract or even come across or even notice a woman who has these kind of good qualities in her. Now, this is where our brain's capability, called as the reticular activating system, also kicks in. For example, let's say the whole day today you're thinking of a red car. Tomorrow, when you go out in the road, suddenly you're noticing so many red cars around you. And this is not because suddenly there's a surge of red cars in the traffic, because you have kind of put a pre filter in your mind to actually notice and observe the cars which are red in color. The same things happen when it comes to your belief systems. So, if you have a belief system which says that there are no emotionally intelligent women out there, you are naturally training your subconscious mind and your brain to get attracted to women who are not emotionally intelligent at all. So, if you even believe that all women are selfish, your reticular activating system will even tune out to actually find evidence for the belief system and the thought process that you have. Your subconscious belief, whatever it is, actually turns out to be a fact in your reality. Which is why, let's say, even if you have a belief system that says that you are not lovable, or if it's not easy for you to find a good relationship, guess what's going to happen? You are always going to attract someone into your life who is going to reaffirm this belief back to you that you are not lovable, because they would be not treating you so well. But that selection is something that you made by yourself in the very first place, because you got attracted to that chaos unconsciously. You will literally not notice any healthy, emotionally intelligent woman because you do not believe they exist at all. And then you will draw in someone who is toxic or not healthy for you, and then you will end up saying, see, I told you, all women are selfish or all women are not emotionally intelligent. The third thing I want to talk about is emotional intelligence actually recognizes its equal. And even a woman who has done the self work, even the woman who has done the inner work to resolve her inner patterns or her traumas, she is not going to get attracted to someone, a man specifically, who is stuck in a victim mindset, who is stuck in that loop of blaming the opposite gender because he believes there are no good women out there. She might even see you, she might even notice you, but she will not engage with you until you show her a sense of emotional safety. So it's not just a selection process that goes one way. Someone who is emotionally intelligent only has eyes for someone who has that emotional depth. And a lot of the times, men do not have that kind of emotional depth. A woman can only meet you as deep as you have met yourself. Most of the times, men are actually cut off from their emotion. There are so many emotional blocks within them where they do not know themselves, what are they feeling, what are they facing within them. And this results into the lack of emotional depth and presence in a connection. And an emotionally intelligent woman would not even get attracted to someone like that in the very first place, because she has worked so hard to build her life full of peace, and she's not going to even accept or tolerate a man who is not going to add value into her life because he is stuck in that blame mindset. So, this basically means that you try to become whole within yourself, where you are not trying to use a woman to fill a void within you. Because most of the cases, when you're actually using someone to fill that sense of loneliness or void within you, this is when you end up attracting a woman who is chaotic or who is not stable or who is not emotionally healthy for you. And I'm saying all these things to empower you, because maybe your trauma or your underlying patterns actually caused you to pick someone who is not healthy for you. But that doesn't mean that this is the ultimate truth. If I am here sitting and talking about all these things to you, there are so many other women out there existing just like I am. I know so many women in my circle who have the same kind of thought process that I do. On a daily basis, I attract people, women, men who are emotionally intelligent because I have built my life in such a way. Someone who does not have that kind of emotional maturity does not get to stay in my life. And because I filter out people in this way from my life, I don't even attract people who are toxic, be it friends or be it anyone else. And this is the kind of attitude that you need to form about yourself. And do I have a history of being in unhealthy relationships? I do. And that's because back then I was knee deep in my traumas, in my patterns, which made me choose people in my life who are not good for me. And when I took accountability and ownership of my life, that is where I started changing my reality. Because at the end of the day, you have no one else to blame. It's all about you. It's all about the decisions that you make, which leads to the life that you are building for yourself. When you start doing the inner work, when you start working on your traumas, your attachment wounds, you actually go into a process of falling in love with yourself. You build a sense of healthy self worth for yourself. And when someone shows up in your life who is not contributing to the life that you are building for yourself, you will have the courage, you will have the guts to remove that person from your life, be it a woman or be it a friend. You will also learn to regulate your own nervous system and to actually build that sense of security within yourself. Make yourself believe that, love doesn't have to be earned. Love is not something that you earn through performance. And you can even start rewiring your subconscious mind to get rid of the outdated belief systems that you have because of your past. And if you want to work with me in order for you to heal your traumas, attachment issues, you can reach out to me through Instagram through the link in the description box below. When you do healing work, your energetic signature basically changes. You become more authentic. Authenticity is the highest vibration there is. Being an authentic person is not being scared to actually voice up his needs, put healthy boundaries for himself, not being scared to actually lose someone from your life, and not being in the cycle of actually clinging on to someone or hoping that woman stays in your life. When you're authentic, you care more about yourself than anyone else. And it's in this process you attract someone into your life who adds value into your life. And when you start healing, you will suddenly start seeing other people who are at the same frequency as you are, who do not have those kind of old psychological wounds that you once carried within you. And then suddenly you'll see a lot of women who are actually nice for you and they see you back too. Why? Because you have started speaking the same emotional language that they are possibly speaking. So, to all the men who have actually commented that such women do not exist, this is an invitation for you to actually look back within yourself and try to work on yourself so that you can become a match for someone who can attract such a woman into your life. Because it's not that there's a lack of such women, because I myself am surrounded with such people. I have met a lot of women who are very emotionally intelligent. So, heal the story, rewrite the filter, upgrade the man so that you can open yourself the possibility of actually attracting someone like that into your life. Because life doesn't have to be so hard, and you don't have to make it so hard even for yourself, too. So, I hope this episode was helpful, and I'll see you guys in the next one.